So an interesting sight on the way to Winside, Nebraska. We've spotted lots and lots of these solar wind-powered propellers, or whatever you want to call them. But as you can see, the windmills. Windmills, okay. But as you can see, just dozens and dozens of them around the over here to my left. But of course, the hill's blocking it now. But wow, this is we just passed Hoskins, Nebraska, and let's see if we can see a bunch more. Obviously, there's some right in front of us here. But I did not know they had these out here like this. That's pretty cool. That's pretty amazing. Anyway, 2021. It looks like there's a whole, like, wow. I would venture to say, you know, as far as the eye can see. So now that we're a little bit closer, you can kind of get an idea. Look at how big those propellers are. Son, you see that?
Yes.
Wow. Have you ever seen one up this close before?
Nope. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Look at that. That's pretty amazing.
All day.
That is crazy. All the way from left, all the way around to the right. I filled up this morning, son. Thank you. That is amazing. As far as your eye can see, look at that. Okay, we are approaching Winside, Nebraska there at a distance. So today's video, we're just gonna do some Winside, Nebraska nostalgia. Myself and my father here, Lauren. Hello, Dad. We're gonna kind of narrate. We're gonna drive through Winside, visit our old home that we grew up in, and just doing a little talking along the way. Just doing some, drive down memory lane, pretty much. So, all right. So we're gonna be coming up on the Winside turn here shortly, and then we are going to. I think the first thing we're gonna do here is obviously drive to the old house. Dad, I'd actually be shocked that the house is still standing. Could you tell us a little about the house, like what year we bought it, how'd you get it? Because it's right there. It was school property once upon a time, right?
Right. It was.
So talk to me about the house.
The Winside Public School owned it at the time, and they wanted to sell it. So they had Warner Monday, the banker, sell it for them. And we bought it from the
what
banker.
year? What year are you talking around here?
Oh, 19. What year was that?
We talking 60s, or are we talking?
Well, might have been in the early 70s, something like that.
Early 70s.
Because we moved back to Norfolk back in 79.
Okay.
So that was probably towards the early middle 70s.
Gotcha. All right, so we're coming up on the Winside turn here. Now, Dad, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember the year that you gave us kids all bikes? I don't know if it was a birthday or for Christmas, but we all got bikes, and we literally rode down here outside of Winside. I think we went down this road to the left, and I remember coming down and riding across this bridge.
Yep.
Do you remember that? I remember us riding as a family down this road.
That used to be old 35 there. We used to go from Winside to Norfolk on old 35. It used to be old 35, an old gravel road. It's still there.
So
it's called old 35.
So instantly I notice welcome to Winside.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a slow drive through here, obviously, but these buildings and homes right here are all new. I don't recall these even being here. To the left and the right, although that's a church.
There's a new church there.
Yeah, I don't recall any of this. Like all this here on the left. So over this hill to the left is where the school is.
Right.
And I remember behind what is now this house was a big hill, and that's where as kids we would always sled. So now there's a fence here, but this hill right here to the left, that's where we would sled as kids. I'll come back around. This is all new. I'm gonna turn in here. Oh my gosh, it looks like it's still standing.
Yep.
So that's the Wacker house, right? The Wackers, the
Bob
Walkers.
Walker lived there.
Yep, used to live right there.
Yep.
This building is new.
I don't know what this is probably for the school.
So here's obviously the, Winside Elementary School. And there's so you got the K to 12, you get the elementary side over here and the high school over there. Here is the house. Oh my gosh, look at this. They
built a deck around the way it looks.
Yeah, they built a deck. Let's go pull up here. So this is, they built all right, so let's pull up here and take a look. All right, so this is, do you remember what the address of this was? I was
At that time, there was no street addresses. I see now Winside's got street addresses. We just had to see our mail went to the post office down there. Just Winside, Nebraska.
So like you said, it looks like they built a deck completely around it, a level deck all the way around. We'll come by on the other side of the road up on the front side. This is the back side of the house.
Looks like they redone the garage. They painted it.
The original structure is there. There's the I remember, I don't know why this sticks out in my memories.
We had a basketball goal on the west side of the garage area. We played basketball a lot there.
I remember we had a tire swing right there in that big tree. I don't know why when I was a kid it seemed like such a massive tree. Now that tree right here that I'm pointing at, right outside of the front of the house, I remember climbing that tree, I don't know how many times when I was a kid. But that obviously the little playhouse here in the swing set, that's all was not there. We had a tire swing hanging from it.
Remember we put up a clothesline? We put up a clothesline up here, and then later on we put a garden in here too, right along here.
Yep, right along here.
Yep.
Yep. It seemed massive when we were kids. Like this parking lot, I remember this parking lot being constructed. I mean, it's newer blacktop now.
I wonder if they're on school Christmas vacation, being there's no cars around here.
Yeah, that could be. It's pretty empty, just taking a pan of the whole area. Obviously, we'll take a look up there at the football field and up there. What were you saying, Deb?
With a half a day.
Oh, gotcha. All right, so let's start a little further now. I don't remember the lady's name that used to live here. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember that. There was a couple older people living there, but then there was somebody else. They had 2 apartments there, like.
Now this was Dottie in this house that lived next door to here.
Bob,
that was Dottie and
Bob. No.
Bob and Dottie Walker.
Don and Dottie.
Don and Dottie. Okay.
Then they moved away later on.
Gotcha. Okay. And then there was what I think was just some little apartments next to there.
Yeah,
and
them 2 trees weren't there either because we played a lot of basketball right there. And we had the hoop up there.
Right. We'll come back again on that side of that street.
I see they redone the sidewalk there.
Yeah, I remember, the sidewalk, oh my gosh, we used to ride our bikes up and down this, what used to seem like a huge sidewalk. We used to ride our bikes up and down that. School buses, I remember I got myself into trouble in going into one of these school buses.
Right along in this parking lot here. Wasn't that in the summer?
I don't remember. I remember getting myself and climbing into one of these buses one year.
That was either at night or in the summertime. I think it was summer. And then your Gallup was a policeman there on one side at the time.
Yeah. So we're just coming around back. Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna go up and take a quick look at the football field for Dave's benefit here. So, so let's see here. So obviously this is the old football field. I might even get out just to take a quick look at it here. So I'm going to pan around to see what else is around here. The old Winside water tower. All right, let me get out and take a quick peek at it. I'll let you guys walk up here and take a look. Woo, it's brisk. Up the old football steps the team would come. So obviously there's no dirt track, it's all grown over at the moment. So only pan around here, this is the football field. And if I remember right, the stands used to be up there in the dirt, the side of the hill. But anyway, that's pretty much that. All right, I'm gonna head back down here and get back in the vehicle. Woo, it's chilly.
we called up the banker and we come over to Winside and looked at the house and we decided we bought it.
So we're missing good story here. You got to say it on the video. You're talking about obtaining the house?
No, we're talking about when I moved over here, bought this house. And when we come over here, why, it was a coal furnace. So we decided to have the gas company put a brand new stove in there. Or I mean, a furnace, not a stove. Central heat, you might say.
So you're talking about the house over here. You guys bought it from the school or from the bank because it was part of the school.
One of them had it listed.
Right. What'd you guys end up getting it for? Some ridiculous price you were telling me.
They wanted $6,500.
$6,500 for a house.
And so before we got the loan, why he added the price of a new furnace on there too, which is about $7,500 for.
So the furnace costs more than the house.
Because that was all, I had it all on one loan then through the bank.
All right, so let's talk here about. So we're gonna pull up in front of the house now. So obviously, growing up, my best friend lived over here on the left. This was the
white one here, wasn't it?
This was the Gallup's home. Yep, Jeff Gallup and his parents. Yep, they lived right there in that house.
Remember the Gales?
Yes, Mike, I think was the son's name, Mike Gale. I think, if I remember right. That was where the Gales lived, if I remember right? Okay, so here we are at the front of the house. I'm not gonna get a very good shot of this here. Plus the sun's in our eyes now. All right, so there's the house. There's the front view of it. There's the garage. This is going to be all right, so there's the garage. Again, looking down here at the school. Actually, no, we pull up just a little bit more. These people that live here probably going to be like,
what's going on?
Yeah, who are these people? So let's take a look at the. Could you put your sunshade up by chance, Dad? So I could see it. Appreciate that. All right, so here's a look at it. Here's a look at the old house, right? I see
there was a porch on this side.
That's an add-on. Yeah, this whole, not only the deck, but that whole little door here and stuff on the left side, it's like an add-on. Actually, it's, yeah, this whole side of the house is all, but you can tell the concrete foundation looks like it might be the original foundation. Mm-hmm. You can see the marks there from where there used to be the old porch out front, right? Instead of those now steps. You can see the marks there, I think, from where the original porch in the 70s when we had it.
I took a whole day off to tear off that porch and everything.
I remember helping, I believe.
I remember we had a big bonfire out here. It burnt all that day. Yeah, it would.
I don't remember the bonfire, but...
it was right east of the garage there. It was burning. I'm surprised the city didn't get after us, though.
So, all right, so here's the house. Here, I'm going to pan around the block here.
Well, this house is worth $35,000.
Wow.
It had two...
panning around the street here.
A huge living room and a...
This street right here, which is in front of the house, I could swear not only we rode bikes up and down this, but I think we used to use this as sled up and down as well.
It used to be gravel at one time.
The fire hydrant, I remember us kids, I don't know how, I remember us, during the summers, they would release the water and we'd be just playing in the fire hydrant over here. So many memories flood back. Like me and Dave, we'd be out here during the summers in our underwear running back and forth on this street, literally right up and down this street. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
We'd be out here in our underwear running around. What else? All right, let's take a roll down to Main Street here. Main Street, if I remember, I was just one light. There was a gas station. There was an old little, ooh, excuse me, I dropped it. There was an old little place I think it was called the Stop In.
Yeah.
It's a little restaurant.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was called the Stop In, like after games or after stuff, we'd stop there and get like a fries and a burger. Now, up there on that road, going to the left there was twin brothers, Mace and Max. They used to live over there.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds familiar. So again, here's the 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 old Walker residence. You can see that's
Bob.
been.
And he passed away quite a few years ago. He was.
I remember falling and bumping my head right down there.
Yep.
On that concrete, and getting having stitches in the back of my head or whatever. Is that? I don't even know how that. I have no recollection of it other than I have no idea. But I just remember I must have been doing something stupid like a kid.
I thought you was gonna go knock on the door.
Of what house? What?
The house back there.
Oh no. I mean, okay, so this red house, this now red house, this is where I could swear Mace and Max lived. If Dave, I think Dave might remember that.
Yeah.
Yep, that is the house. Wow, it looks like it hasn't been painted since the 70s either. So that's that house I don't even remember.
Yeah. E.T. Warnemoney was a banker, and he built that house. He passed away. Dave is his son.
Winside. Okay, so here's Main Street. So we got the fire and rescue here.
That's new.
I don't remember this. I don't remember this building either.
That looks like fairly new anyway. I mean.
So what do we got here in Main Street? I don't even know what.
Here's the old church I used to go to. They moved that in from the country out northeast of Winside. They moved that in. Now it's the.
I was just getting ready to say, is that a
museum.
historical? So okay, so we got a historical church from outside of town. I don't even remember this.
No, you didn't.
But it's now sitting literally in the park. So I remember the park. These grain elevators were obviously not here.
No, I don't remember them either.
Wow,
they
these.
look pretty, you know.
So someone probably owns that land all the way up to the park now.
Look at that building. I don't know what it's all.
So this was the Gallup's little where
Yep.
he worked on all the cars and stuff, right?
Winside Motors, he called it.
Winside Motors. I remember I used to get my little sodas there on the side.
There must be somewhere they got some Christmas decorations on the window.
So Winside City Park. Clearly this has changed quite a bit over the years. I remember one time back here where the grain elevators now, where there was like a not a state fair, but there was a like a little roller derby cars back there, and Mom and me snuck under the fence and went and sat back and watched these cars crash into each other.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so on the left here,
that guy passed away back in the early 70s, and he was business and back in the 60s. General Electric was General Electric Television and Appliances, Carlson Electric.
So where was the stop-in at? Is it further up there by the grocery store?
Next block up. Harry's over here today, the barber shop. He owns Country Clippers on Benjamin there. He comes here every Monday now.
So this is where we used to. I remember coming in here and getting paper wrapped meat.
Yeah.
From the meat guy, right?
He had good meat in there.
I remember coming to get meat from there. Holy cow!
Good stuff, baby. Yeah, Harry's here every Monday. He goes Country Clippers in Norfolk here on Benjamin. Yeah, he's here today, right there. There's that little white building there.
Wow.
Harry's.
So I remember one of my classmates, I think her name was Kim, used to live in that house right there. I don't recall what was here. This corner's now empty.
Yeah, they tore that building down. Used to be an old small grocery store there years ago.
All right, so there's your
Winside
bank.
Stockman was here too, I think, right next to this.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, because this is the bank.
So somewhere along this block was the stop-in, which is obviously no longer here. So here's the store. So one of the biggest things I remember about this right here, this was the grocery store where we shopped. One of my biggest memories of going here was
Miller's Market.
Was the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I don't know why that sticks out as a memory, but there was a Santa Claus used to come and sit in the back of the store. And this was the co-op gas station over here.
They tore the building down, but I see those pumps there.
Yeah, the building itself is gone.
There's their office right over here. Used to be the office, main office.
Okay.
I imagine it still is.
Interesting. So that's pretty much what's left of Main Street, which is not much. I'm going to take a trip down here because definitely a memory that was down here was the baseball field also.
Yeah, clear at the end.
Hey, there's a tank over there. That's cool. Over there to the right, see it?
Oh, man, I never noticed.
That looks like an M60 American tank. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that never was there before.
Yeah, definitely not there.
Shimody Weibel's still in business, the truckers.
So, oh, because it's an American Legion post
Yeah.
house. So that wasn't there either, obviously.
No, that's all new. This looks like it's all new here.
Interesting. So yeah, this is all, I don't recognize
Whatever's
any
in
of
there,
this.
I don't know. Oh, you took connected with Shimody and Weibel. They was pretty good size outfit.
Ballpark parking, okay. These look like tennis courts that are not even functional, but those were not here for sure. Yeah, I don't recognize any of this. I do remember there being, all right, I'm gonna do a drive-by for the little ball field here. All right, so over here's the ball field. The little bathrooms and stuff. All right, let me pull up here. Okay, so we got the little baseball field over here. I'm just gonna pan around. I remember, okay, so you see those little, the people where they'd sit behind the fence, the back behind the home plate there?
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a guy who used to have a cigar box, and it was filled with quarters. And when anybody would hit a foul ball back here, all the kids, including myself, would go running for it, and they'd bring the foul ball up, and this guy with the cigar box would give you a quarter.
Wow.
I don't. This may just be completely something, but it's a specific memory I have from over here at the baseball field.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody else recollects that or if that's just me, and these bathrooms are still red and white. I remember them being the same exact color when we were kids.
Now, I don't know what's in that building to the east of that long building. I have no idea. Two buildings. I don't know what's in them. I had no idea.
I don't know either.
Buildings.
All right, so we're almost concluded here. We're going to go a
Mind
little
if we
bit.
stop at the bank?
What is it?
Mind if we stop at the bank a minute?
You need to stop at the bank?
I can cash a check.
Sure, if you need to stop at the bank.
Stop at the bank just to say hello. I haven't been in there. For, see,
Sure.
my Social Security check still goes to the bank. My home.
Sure, we'll stop at the bank. All right, so I don't know what's next. We'll do a roundabout Norfolk, and then we'll finish up our little trip here. All right, we're gonna go do a stop at the bank for Dad, and then we'll continue the trip.
Co-op had the guy that owns the station here, or the pumps, and I done all my business with Co-op when I was in Winside after
All right.
the last 2 years when I was living here.
They got a place where you slap.
D&T repair, whatever that is.
I love the junkyard.
Mechanic.
Let's go to the junkyard.
Go look at the. Where do you see a junkyard? Okay, sure. All right, so
There's the shortcut road, the main road. They'll take you clear down to east of 275 and east of Norfolk here.
there used to be a creek out here.
Can you back up? Can you back up? Can you back up?
Why do I need?
Because I wanted to see. Oh, man, it's a turn.
Well, actually, I was getting ready to talk a story about the creek there and what I used to do, but let's go to the. I didn't realize this is what you're talking about.
Wow, look at some cars here.
All right,
Look at all them Volkswagens.
we got some winners in here.
I mean, seriously, look at the Volkswagen. There's a lot of them.
We got some potential 2022 calendar winners here, or 2023, excuse me, for John and Dave.
So why are there so many Volkswagens here, Dad? Do you know?
There was a guy in Winside years ago after we left. He moved in on Norfolk on one of those buildings there where Carlson Electric used to be. I was told that he had worked on a lot of Volkswagens. That's the only thing I know about him.
Oh, you still taking pictures?
So I don't know if he's in business anymore or not downtown there. But I was told he done a lot of Volkswagens. Was this where he
didn't
jumped
say
all
anything.
them
I
older?
was trying to ask if you were still taking pictures.
Wow. So who owned that place?
Huh?
You said somebody used to own that place, or they owned a lot of Volkswagens?
I didn't know who it was, but it was a guy that always worked on Volkswagens downtown there. And I don't know if he's still downtown in Winside or not. I have no idea.
Downtown Winside or downtown?
Yeah, downtown in Winside on Norfolk, Winside Main Street there on the north side there. If you want to go all the way down to Norfolk or Winside Main Street,
Well, yeah.
I'll show him where he was located at.
What are you guys wanting to do? I was going to drive up this hill and go around Norfolk.
When you get done doing what you're doing, I wanted to find out about the guy with the Volkswagens.
Yeah.
Like your dad was just telling me.
Okay,
well,
so where do you want me to go?
Want to go
No,
and
go
then,
where you gonna go first,
yeah, go where you want to go first.
and then on the way out we'll hit the guy with the Volkswagen.
Sure.
Thanks.
All right, so all right. I don't remember any homes to the right being here. I remember this used to be just all cornfields to the right.
Yep, all new. Yeah, was our home.
Yeah, these are all cornfields to the right.
They put up a new water tower.
Yeah, it does look, yeah, that is different and new. Yeah, this is what it used to be like up here. Now, I remember, was it this road? I think.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in town got antennas. You know?
So, what I do remember, at the top of a big hill, the water tower existed. And right across the street from a water tower was a woman where Mom took us to get babysat, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was.
I want to say it was
Helen
it
Ham.
Helen? Yeah, that's. Oh, wait a
What?
minute. The water tower was actually right over here, the corner of this intersection.
I'm not.
Right
Well,
here.
it was on the last street.
Yeah, the
Wasn't
water
it?
tower was
That's
actually
the
right
right
here in the
street.
corner.
I don't really think that they moved an entire water tower. That
Yes.
makes sense.
It was
Yeah, there-
literally right here at this
there.
intersection. But I'm sure they didn't move.
Yeah,
They didn't move it, they built it.
new
That's
since
brand
we
new.
moved away, I know.
The old one was an old steely looking thing that was right here at
Yeah.
this intersection.
Yeah, and
And this used to be Helen's home where I'm guessing right here.
Right here, I think.
we were
And
like
I
babysat,
think
yeah.
this is the house right here,
Yep,
Steve.
yep. I can't remember her last name, but Helen I do remember.
I don't know if anybody's living there or not. It looks like it's, I don't know, it's empty the way it looks.
I'm right here. No, I'm right here.
No, that one
No,
back
the
there.
previous one.
I didn't get the address of it. I could have checked it.
That's new. I don't recall that house there with, looked like the apartments there. But
Interesting. I remember going to many of these houses, either, friends or. Interesting. Okay. So that is pretty much all I had. I'm going to go down some of these other streets. But you said you wanted to go back down to Main Street, right?
Yeah, but before you go back down Main Street, I need you to make a right and go back down there by the Volkswagen place because there's a you want to take a look at the windmills, and I think there's a windmill station down here. If you don't mind.
Wherever you want to go.
yeah, I didn't. I was going to ask Dave
Oh,
about them.
here's another memory for Dave.
That used to be
Okay.
a church right there.
Okay, so this right here, this place, there used to be a large crane truck parked right out here.
Tuffy
Remember him?
Hartman's used to live right
Yes,
there.
the Hartmans used to live right here, and they owned a big. Their
Yeah.
father was like a crane operator.
He held a lot of his equipment up there on right
Yeah.
there, right east of.
And I think this was
can't
like a
think of-
body shop for the high school, if I remember
Yep,
right.
there used to be an old high school. I went to high school here. They tore that down years ago. That was still here when we moved in Winside back in the early middle 70s there.
So again, here's looking down the hill
Yeah.
onto the house.
And I remember this used to be gravel. Right? And then when we was here, they put all new pavement in some of these streets here in town.
So what was that? An old motorcycle? I mean, an old lawnmower?
I don't know. That wasn't there when we. I don't know. Any idea, Dad, what that was?
What?
Getting further away from it. Can you back up a little bit?
Right here. Debbie's it.
That's where Gales used to live.
Dad, you're not. Let me back up. You see the
See the
old
structure
antique,
right there?
whatever it was, right there?
That looks like an old wagon or something.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
it looks like it's meant to go on rails, like a railroad track.
You can still see the wood. That's pretty decent.
Might be an old railroad car or
Yeah,
something,
look
but
at
it
the
looked
wheels
like.
right there, Lauren, by the tree.
Yep.
And over here, right here.
By the stop
Wagon
sign.
wheel.
Oh, okay. I thought something about that old
No, I did start
frame
with
there
that.
with the wheels on it. Okay, yeah.
All right, so okay, you guys want to go down to there's the old water meter under the
Hey, they moved that old big old rock out of the way. What we used to
Oh,
have for
that's
the
right,
steps.
that's
Remember
right.
that big old steps was right there.
slab
by-
of concrete turned upside down in the
Yep.
in the yard. Yep.
that heavy machine operator couldn't handle it, could he? He was going to take it away, and they couldn't. As far as it got, and they couldn't handle it.
All right. Well, this is going to conclude the video portion of the Winside. Oh wait, you know, there's one more. I'm going to do a little school. Do the school when we come back when we're exiting
Okay.
out. But I'll. Okay, so I parked over here at the Winside School, and I'm going to take a little nostalgic walk back here to get out of the vehicle because these classrooms are Dave and myself are classrooms. I'm going to take a peek in these classrooms and walk around. So this hill right here, there's a white fence at the top of it. It looks like it's degraded a little bit since we were kids, but this was like during the winter times, this was the place in town to sled right here. I don't remember those trees being there, but man, this was the stuff. We thought this was like Mount Everest, sliding down this. And let's see, back here, classrooms. And I want to go back. I'm sure this playground is all rebuilt, of course, but oh my gosh, I remember this hallway with the classrooms. I don't know if you can see through here, but there's the classrooms. Oh, sorry, not being able to see that very well. There we go. There's a good look at the classrooms. The lockers. How cool is that? All right. Let's see. Let's take a peek around here. Okay, yeah, this is all rebuilt. This is what it looks like now. And obviously, you know, more classrooms there, but all right, so that's just a quick look at the school and a little nostalgia of the hill we used to sled on. And that's about it. So this has been kind of fun. A little trip down memory lane. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. And wow, until next time, bye.